Hey everybody, welcome back. Uh, I am so happy to be here and it's good to see you. Today we are going to be talking about self-care. And in case this is our first time meeting, hi, my name's Amy Eicher and I am a chronic pain coach and best-selling author. And I help motivated women in chronic pain reclaim the lives that they love with the use of education, movement, and self-discovery. I experienced chronic pain for 20 years and through a very long and very winding road, found my way to a pain-free recovery after everything else failed. And I want to help you do that too. So join me today as we cover the topic of self-care. With my clients, I find that this is such a curious conversation. And do me a favor, as you're joining me, do me a favor and drop where you're coming from and like what you're doing today, because I love seeing that. But self-care is such a curious conversation with all of my clients because everybody tells me about what they're doing for their pain, but almost nobody talks about what they're doing for themselves. And I was really good at this too. I used to talk about I did my PT exercises and I iced and I stretched and I did all of these different things. But when I was talking about the things that I was doing that I was calling self-care at the time, they were things that were really just taking care of my pain. They had nothing to do with me, the person. And one of the things that you'll know if you followed me at all is that I talk about pain, chronic pain, from the perspective that the intensity of our pain generally comes from a nervous system that is like way too excited, way too on all the time. And so we need to calm it down. We need to turn it off. We need to rewire it. There's a bunch of different ways to talk about it, but essentially we need to create safety in our unconscious and conscious minds, ditch fear of movement and fear of making things worse. And we need to understand what's actually going on in our bodies. Now, I have a free class that you can sign up for called Chronic Pain Explained for 30 days. It's completely free content. You have access to it for 30 days, and it will tell you everything you need to know about what current research, and by current, I mean the last 30 years, has to say about chronic pain. So I will drop the link for that in the comments when we are done chatting about self-care, but please know that that is available to you if you're like, Amy, what in the world are you talking about? Right. So self-care, about caring for oneself. I want to be very clear that this is not unique to people that are in pain, right? Everybody, all humans need to do this, but I would suggest that those of us in pain probably aren't awesome at it. We're probably very, very good at making sure everybody else's needs are met. We're probably very, very good at caring for our pain, but we need to become better at caring for ourselves, the human being that is inside the body that is in pain. What do I mean by that? Well, pain tends to steal. It takes away and it makes very small the lives that we live because we're told not to do things. Don't do it if it hurts. This thing that you used to do activity-wise could cause more damage. And we know that chronic pain is like a really poor indicator of actual tissue damage, but it is an excellent indicator of an ongoing loop that is stuck. So our tissue doesn't have to be damaged anymore for us to continue to experience pain. And one of the best ways to lower your pain and regain the life that you want so badly is to actually start to care for you, which means getting involved in those hobbies that you love, picking up things that you have put down little by little because of your pain. Now, I know that sounds counterintuitive, and you're probably listening to this going, Amy, have you completely taken leave of your senses? Because I hurt so bad, I can't. I get that. I truly, truly get that because like I said at the beginning of this video, I was in pain for 20 years. I started when I was 18. That's a really long time. I was 38 before I really started to get my pain under control. So I get it. I really, really do. But the reality is, unless we begin to focus on the human being experiencing the pain, the individual, that's us, it's really hard to get a handle on pain, to get the life back that you want, to be able to do things like you want. We've got to put a little faith in that. So This week, we discussed a blog post about caring for yourself. And most people say that's really indulgent. I don't have time to do that. And I'm going to challenge you and say you don't have time to not do this. With my kids when they were young, I, I, I taught them to express their needs. And I can remember my daughter being very young, and she is extremely extroverted. And she was in swimming, and she loved swimming, but she also had friends outside of that sport. And one day she came up to me and she said, "Mom, I really need to spend some time with my friends. I haven't seen any of them in a few days, and I'm feeling very, very sad." Well, that was Erin's way of acknowledging that she was depleted in something. She knew what she needed to fix that. And then we created time for her to go do that. She was taking care of herself. She wasn't being selfish. She was understanding her needs and communicating them. So self-care is really knowing what you need, speaking that need, and then taking the time to care for that need. Because the reality is, not everybody around us will help us care for our own needs, which may be part of what's contributing to our pain. But your needs are super important, and I need you to figure out what they are. Your home exercise program that your PT gave you, that's great, as are your lotions, your potions, and your pills. But that may not actually be caring for you, right? We need to care for the you of you. So how do you practice self-care? This is a question I get all the time. And the answer is, that's totally up to you. It is completely your decision. It is your choice. It is the things that are important to you. I encourage all of my clients to write down 5 to 7 things that I call happy bites. And these are things that you can do throughout the day for 5 to 7 minutes that make you feel good. So maybe that's standing outside. Maybe that's listening to a song. Maybe that's eating a bite of dark chocolate. I know that for me is a little bit of self-care when I can indulge in a little bit of chocolate. Maybe it's texting a friend or watching otters on TikTok. I don't know. It's what works for you. And there are different categories if you're a category kind of gal like I am. So, you will note that several weeks ago we talked about rest and the types of rest there are, and interestingly enough, self-care falls into those same categories. But we can care for our mind. Maybe you love to learn like I do, and so taking a class or having a social media fast or watching a new documentary on Netflix, maybe those are things that feed your soul. Caring for your spirit. This could be things like maybe trying yoga or meditation, or maybe going for a walk in nature. But it's reconnecting to things larger than you. And it doesn't have to be faith-based, right? Are you caring for your social needs? Have you joined a class lately? It doesn't have to be anything huge. It can be, it can be like a one-off class, right? Maybe you're going to learn about something, or you're going to take a card making class, or go to Michael's and do one of their like 2-hour workshops, or Home Depot or Lowe's. Those are all places that offer really quick classes on the weekend that you could go and sit or adapt to your needs. They tend to be short, and learn something new and involve yourself with others around you. Are you still calling your friends? Are you still engaged? Do you need to meet people on the internet? I have a Facebook group. It's full of people. We like to share things. I share hints and tips, and you can talk with others that are experiencing things that you're going through. Do you need to get your mind off of your own experience? And maybe you could volunteer to do something. Did you know that people that volunteer experience less pain? Crazy, right? The nervous system and the brain are incredible things, and oftentimes things that we think of as odd end up being really good for us, like volunteering. So maybe you can't go serve food all day at a shelter, but maybe you could make cards for troops, or knotted baby blankets for preemies at the hospital. There's all kinds of volunteer projects that we can do from our own home if they interest us. Are you caring for your emotions? I find this is one of the most neglected areas for people in pain. Are you understanding your needs? Are you understanding yourself? Are you being kind? Are you working on getting rid of the guilt and the shame from all of the things you can't do? Are you learning to focus on the things that you can do and grow those? Do you have a sense of self-compassion? Things that you could consider as acts of self-care for this part of you would be practicing gratitude, positive affirmations. Some people really enjoy those. Talking with a therapist, or my personal favorite, journaling. I am a huge fan of journaling because I can take a journaling prompt, which I wrote a book full of, 52 journaling prompts, all for you, and you set a timer and you just free journal. And then I go back and I read what I've written and I learn an awful lot about myself that way. But Uncovering You is my journal on Amazon if you're curious about what that might be. Are you caring for yourself physically? How's your diet? Are you moving? Are you trying new things? How long has it been since you bought yourself a new outfit or got your nails done or whatever it is that just makes you feel a little bit more like you? You know, it's not a hidden fact that I have gained a lot of weight since COVID started, and I was amazed at the power of buying an outfit that actually fit me instead of trying to continue to wear clothes that really no longer fit and made me feel really bad about myself. But a little bit of money at the thrift store, thread up online. You don't even have to leave your home if you can't or don't want to. And clothes that fit made me feel really, really good. So that's another way of caring for yourself that maybe you haven't thought of. I want you to know that developing new routines take time, and I understand that. And the idea of self-care often takes time for people, right? Getting away from the idea that we only need to care for the pain, right? So that all the things that we do are in the spirit of keeping our pain low or making it go away or trying to do the things that are associated with our pain. I'm not saying that those are bad. They're necessary, like eating, making sure that the kids get to school, right? There's things that we have to do that are just part of our daily lives. And then there's things we do that feed our souls. They feed our values. They feed who we are and help us to feel more ourselves. That's what I want for you. That is where recovery from chronic pain is. Finding you again. And that's going to be in caring for you and not your pain. I would love it if you have enjoyed this video and would like to share. Please do so. Leave your thoughts in the comments if you're watching this after the live. I would love that as well. And if you have enjoyed this video and would like to continue to support me as a content creator, I would love it if you would buy me a coffee. You can just make a small donation to keep these lives going, and that'd be great. So like, share, comment, and if you feel so inclined, buy me a coffee. I will see you next week when we talk about lessons in chronic pain from Disney's Encanto. If you haven't seen it, watch it, and we'll talk about it next week. It's nice to see you all again. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.